Hi, I'm Steve Perkins, the Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, and we're here at the Vermont History Museum. I'm standing in front of a display that's meant to evoke an early cabinet of curiosities, an early way of showing museum items. And inside this cabinet is a little paper globe produced in 1869, up through the end of that last century, by a teacher from Vermont. So we're going to talk a little bit more about globes and this particular foldable one in particular. I have a copy that I can handle, so we're going to go grab that so we can look a little closer at it. So what I have here looks like a flat piece of paper or cardboard, but when I pull on either end of it, it forms into a globe. Like I said, patented in 1869 by a Vermont schoolteacher, Dennis Townsend, who was working in a village called Felchville, which was a part of Reading, Vermont, down in Windsor County. He felt that students were not getting appropriate geographical education. At this time in the 19th century, educators were starting to feel and promote the idea that students should study their place in the world. They should understand where they live, the world around them, but also how the geometry of this globe creates things like seasons and day and night and the year, and you can't do that with a flat map. Globes were very, very expensive, so Dennis Townsend decided, I can create one made out of paper that could be pulled into a globe shape, and he did exactly that. They were quite inexpensive, they shipped all over the country and became very popular, and you can now find them in a lot of museum and library collections. What I really like about this globe is it shows the interest in polar exploration at this time in our history. We're talking the end of the 19th century, the 1870s, 1880s, and so it has marked on it a lot of these islands in the South Pacific. It has locations in Antarctica, and it has some of the islands that were being identified in the Arctic Ocean. When Townsend created the globe, he also created a booklet called Townsend's Folding Globe Lessons. It starts off with really easy questions like, what shape is a globe? What shape is our Earth? How much of it is water? How much of it is land? And then moves on to much more in-depth questions for students. But he wrote an interesting preface, and it lays out his theory of why students should be using a globe and not a flat map. He has a number of pieces in here. He said we should be justly pronounced insane if we commence teaching children to read English with Egyptian hieroglyphics or Chinese symbols. Yet we do that which is equally irrational when we undertake to represent the form of the earth and the position of places upon its surface by a map which without any explanation is a false illustration and can be understood only by a process of reasoning entirely beyond the mind of the child. So he goes on to say why a globe is so much easier to show how the earth is represented and why one should use his globe. So if you'd like to learn more about globes, early education, please visit us at the Vermont Historical Society, and you can check out our website at vermonthistory.org or follow us on social media.